Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus having a rematch with Hobbylink Japan's Sentinel stock. This time I'm taking a look at the much modified Riobot Blodia Riot, a variation of the basic Blodia chassis that's built for, well, apparently hovering and punching. Let's find out whether the Riot gave me the same warm Blodia feelings as the original. Let's get the easy part out of the way. The head, torso, and right arm are all identical to the original Blodia that I looked at before. Totally identical. Except that it's yellow. Alright? Alright. Everything else is new tooling, and a lot of it is big, beefcake, badass tooling. Look at that arm! Everything about it is gigantic, from the rivets to the turbine to the meaty robo-tendons between the yellow casing pieces on each finger. The other majorly huge new piece is the gargantuan chunk of hover-jetted mechanical hoo-ha that's replaced the Blodia's legs. What you see is what you get. I don't have much to add other than how much I am into the boundary pushing of having 4 giant jets, 6 little jets, 4 big silver die-cast plates, and it's very unsubtle in that particular delightful way. There's also a new armature piece that plugs on over the existing backpack, which mounts a hydraulic cannon thingy. To be honest, given everything else this toy does, I'm a tad disappointed that those hydraulics are only sculpted and don't actually work. So for the 3 of you out there who want a perfectly sculpted fist, this guy comes with a sculpted fist. It is his only accessory. He doesn't come with a display stand, nothing, just this fist for you crazies. I don't use it, because I think this hand is fine. Like the original Blodia, this guy has a poseable hand. He's got a lot of the same stuff in about 33% of his body. The head joint works the same as before. Little pop-up thing here. The shoulders work the same as before. The shoulder pads are still die-cast and can flop. This arm is the same as on the original Blodia. You can point. He can be all like, I'm the same! The shield here has the same slidey slide gimmick, or you can remove it and the peg can suck in there. Let's talk about the... Oh, actually here, just for reference, he's also got this joint. So he can do that. Let's talk about new stuff. Let's talk about the big-ass arm hanging off of one side of his body. So this thing is crazy. It starts off by doing this thing whereby the bicep can extend. Not really sure why, but I bet it has something to do with the fiction. The elbow has got a pretty good bend on it as well. This back bit can spin, and then if you twist the front of the fist, or the front of the arm, this thing extends outwards. You can't pull on this, though, to get this to twist forward. All the force has to be up in here. The big hand looks really cool. It spins and does that. And like the little hand, it is fully poseable, and I love this thing. It's just... looks like a big anime robot hand. This is the kind of, like, this big meaty digits and all the joints being inside the plating. This has a much nicer look than some other large poseable hands you might see where the joints are all built into the mass of the digits. This is all internal, and it just looks nice. It looks like he's gonna just reach out and grab stuff and squeeze it. I love this giant arm. It's a whole lot of fun. I don't really know much about the gimmickry of it in terms of the game, but it just looks cool. The backpack thing here. Oh yeah, these little gas tanks move around like on the original Blodia. This thing loves to pop off. It doesn't fall off if you breathe on it, but it's really easy to bump off with all the other stuff this guy does. This little armature does that, and this, and spins, because there's a little gun on top. And as I mentioned before, the hydraulics here don't do anything, but you can still get a lot of different firing positions going, or if you just yank it off of there and extend this out, there are a couple tabs here that work with the palm slot on the small Blodia hand, so that you can have him hanging onto this gun and firing it, you know, as though it was just a gun. Like, you know, give Blodia a weapon. You can give this to the red Blodia, or blue, or whatever color it is you get of the bipedal Blodia. Any small Blodia hand can hold this thing. The tab is more of a securing mechanism and a balancing mechanism. Like, the real meat of how this is held together is greatly helped by the fingers. But, yo, if you want to, you can do that. I usually just leave it up here, where it belongs. So, the rest of the waist articulation, perhaps quote-unquote, this guy has this ratcheted tilt going on here. You can swivel. There goes the backpack, as I mentioned. Loves to jump off. These gold brass cabley things can lift up, if you so choose. This is probably just going to happen naturally while you're moving stuff around, because these 4 thruster things, number one, this flake silver paintwork here is over solid die-cast metal. And these 4 things all have the same posability. They can move forwards and backwards, they can swivel around side to side, then the big turbine thing underneath is on its own ball joint. And then these 6 little thruster thingies are all on individual ball joints. So there's a lot of articulation in this guy, considering how he has no legs. There's just all manner of expressibility you can do, where he's all like, yo, I'm surfing along the side of a corner and I'm gonna punch something. As far as moving parts, there's one other whack of them, which is underneath here. And this is a system of things which are in place as an alternative to a display stand, an alternative to just resting him on the floor. If you really want him to look like he's kinda hovering, and I believe this is an original piece of Sentinel design, if I understand the paperwork on the website correctly. I might be getting this wrong, but I think that's what they were implying. These 4 little die-cast claws, and like these things are, the whole armature of these things is made of metal. Can fold out, they've got a little ridge surface here, and the hypothetical idea behind this is that you flip them all out, and then once they're all out, you rest this guy on the ground, and now he's standing on the ground, but kinda looks like he's hovering. And it sort of works. On mine, this is a little bit loose here and there. These are all just metal pin connections between superglued sandwiched metal parts. So the friction is a bit crazy at times, and you might need to get in there with some floor polish or even a little bit of super glue if you're careful to tighten everything up. But you know, it's an interesting solution to the idea. It's a little frivolous. The parts count is enormously ramped up by having these things in here. Not to mention they're all made of zinc. But hey, you know, it's an idea. So this display stand is just your typical Sentinel display stand that did not come with the Blodia Riot. I pulled this one from one of my other Sentinel figures, just to show that this guy has a few at least intended spots to play with the stand. With this peg here, there is a peg hole underneath all that mess we opened up to do the Sentinel, I believe, original display mode. This thing can peg in all the way up here as well. The problem is, this thing is so heavy, I don't really like how this looks or sounds when I try to put him on this display stand, because if you get him to a balancing point, he's held up there by a plastic peg that, like, it's not like it feels brittle, but I feel like it's gonna be the thing that gives, if anything gives. So I don't feel very safe doing that. If we can just time warp for a second and get all this stuff put back together, then there's also a little peg hole on the bottom of the closed up and hidden display arm thingies, which works even worse because it has about, like, maybe a centimeter of chasm for the peg to occupy, and it doesn't work very well. There's one more display stand point, which is back here. This one works alright. It's deep enough, but I don't know. This doesn't feel very good, no matter how you orient this thing. Like, here, he's kind of floating, but I would not leave him like this for more than, like, a minute. So there are options in here for display stand use with the Sentinel display stand, but none of it feels very secure whatsoever. I'd recommend just sorting out another solution, or maybe getting more of these arms, I don't know. Doesn't feel super good using a display stand with this guy. The B-Riot features a lot of the same qualities that made me fall in love with its regular bipedal cousin, but doesn't feel quite as inherently fun to mess around with. It's a lot more unwieldy, a tad more rickety, and a lot more expensive. This version's often 50% more pricey, and while that extra budget translates into enormous zinc plates and a ton of under-the-waist parts count, the bang-for-your-buck factor is greatly lessened, especially with the lack of a proper display stand. The Riot variant is more like your traditional expensive super robot toy. Impressive, but more display-oriented than play-oriented, which does make me squint hardcore at that aforementioned lack of a display stand. It is a lot more unique looking in the greater super robot realm, though, and it's definitely got some friggin' presence, man! Also, this version of the Blodia gives you some payoff on the modular shoulder and waist connection points that Sentinel worked into the design. There's a green Blodia Riot out there as well, and both versions are known to go on sale now and then. If you're only gonna Blodia once, though, make it the biped. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus, and I'm not through with Sentinel yet, not by a long shot. They've got my attention, there's been a riot, and I think it's time for detonation.